Good morning. Top of the morning to you. Good to be here with you today. I know today we're going to be talking about how you handle trouble, how you handle setbacks, how you handle the unexpected. And this is inherent in every job and every business has been together for more than 3 months or more. Seems like it comes sooner than we expected. I know when I was in the book business, many times I would go out looking for the great opportunities and they'd have doors slammed in my face. Well, this motivated me. It's kind of like the story that the young girl that worked and did very well in college, in school, and when she got out on a job, it was very boring. There was no challenges, there was nothing for her to do, and she was cut down by other people. Well, this is part of life, and this is part of what we need to expect when we go into a new job, new occupation. Irregardless of the grades that she made in school, which she made very high grades, it was not honored when she went to the school of hard knocks, and that is carrying on a job for life. Well, this happened to me in the book business. When I was turned down and had doors slammed in my face, it only motivated me to go to that next house with a smile on my face and enthusiasm within. But now other people face those kind of hardships and setbacks as a turnaround. Maybe this isn't what I expected it to be, and maybe I better be changing jobs. Well, that kind of analogy would not yield us success in the future. And those are the people that are hopping from one job to the other. The girl that went out and worked on a job after graduation from college, she was telling her dad that it became very boring, that she was doing the same thing, and that the boss was telling her to do certain things and working more hours than the rest of the people were working. Well, this set her back, and she said she couldn't understand why she had to work more hours while the others that had been there for years were not working as many hours and doing as much production. Well, the dad asked her point blank, as a friend, what do you want to accomplish in life? What do you want to do with your life and your career? Well, she stated about the goals that she had in mind. Well, she said all people are not that way. And so you can be comfortable in realizing that you are maybe a little different than those people that are not asked to do the same jobs and the same hours and capacity that you are putting forth. Well, this helped motivate her. It helped change her life. Sometimes we have opportunities and we don't realize it. And many times it's like in certain situations, a kick in the pants can send you even further along the path of progress than a friendly handshake. This was said by David Sarnoff, and that's really true. You can have the setbacks, and that causes you to sit back and learn and examine what you did wrong. Had you not done those things wrong, you would not gain, you would not grow, and you would not reach higher. And it's a blessing to have those experiences. And many of us have witnessed just exactly that. And anybody that's been in business long enough to know that setbacks are sometimes setups for greater comebacks. And that's the way to look at the problems. It's not a way to look at them as a deterrent. And it's like in Corinthians, in the Bible, it says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Well, it's inspiring that we look at relatives and friends with recognition. And many times people that you associate with are reflective of who you are. And you can tell who are your best friends, your real friends in reality. When you go through difficult times, you come to them and tell them about the experiences that you just witnessed and that you were so disappointed. Well, the good friend will psychologically put their arm around your shoulder and simply ask, what do you want to do and what do you want to accomplish? And then he or she will listen to you. And then also he's gonna say a few things that maybe you could do better. He will not necessarily side with the employer, the manager that criticized you and pushed you further, but he will put his arm around you and say, maybe certain things that Mr. Bradley said to you, assuming Mr. Bradley is the manager, would be something that we need to focus on and count on. Now, the superficial friend may not react that way. The superficial friend will simply say, well, Mr. Bradley's been here for a long time and he knows more about this thing than you or I do, so maybe we better attend to what he says. Well, there's a certain truth in that, but that doesn't compliment the young man that was discouraged and put down. It's better to ask him what he wants and what desires that he will achieve. And this is the better path. And many times we will either support each other, or the other person will sometimes take the side of the criticizer. And there you can tell who is your friend and who is not. We can see that that in reality and how it really works. And there are six points, 6 attributes, 6 ways to determine who your real friends are. And that was, I know in my Sunday school class, a guy named Fred Smith, who was the mentor for Zig Ziglar, a famous world-renowned speaker. And he said, these are the characteristics you need to be aware of when you're associating with others. The true friend knows all about you and loves you anyway, regardless of your setbacks. They will put their arm around you and give you confidence, belief in yourself, and show you that they believe in you as well. Another point he brought out says no matter how successful you become, they'll still be friends with you. Your success will not be a point of jealousy toward that person. And certain aspects about relationships and companies, as you progress, as you gain recognition and success, many times people will resent you. It'll be a threat to their own situation. And those are not friends of yours. And the third point that he brings out is when you need him, whether or not you ask him to be, he will be there for you. He will be volunteering his services, his help, his attention, his love for you. He will be there, and you don't have to ask him to be there. Another point is he believes in you when you don't believe in yourself. Now, this is the thing that we get depressed and we get low on ourselves. He will still believe in you, and he will be there for you to lift you up. And these are true friends. These are true friends. He strengthens you with hope and prayers. He gives you hope. He tells you about the good things about yourself and brings out these aspects. He comes in when the rest of the world goes out. In other words, everybody might be criticizing you and they have bad things to say, but a true friend is there when you need him, and he comes in irregardless of what others are saying. There's a quick test to see if friendship is real. When you make a mistake, does he stick with you? Does he stick with you and ask you certain questions about the things that you decided to do and why you decided to do them? Here's a quote that's really good that I like. If you aren't big enough to stand criticism, you really are too small to be praised. And that's by Eric Deason. And that's very, very true. We need to be criticized and take that criticism as constructive stepping stones, not as roadblocks, not as walls of resistance. And look at the criticism with a positive attitude. And this is extremely, extremely important. And I know that in high school, a young person had an idea of being an architect. And he talked to his professor about being an architect and maybe picking a college that could learn about architecture. Well, the professor looked at him with a very downward negative look And he walked away from that office thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't be an architect, or maybe I'm not that good to be an architect. Excuse me for the interruption. Maybe I'm not that good to be an architect. Well, he went on to a college for 2 years, a lower college. It wasn't necessarily an architectural school, but he went ahead and after about 2 years, he decided to go to a specialty architectural school. And he decided this on his own because he knew that the best thing to do was what he needed to do, and that was to go to this school of architecture. You must have the energy and the focus, and you must not let anything come in the way of that. And that's what he did. And there's another situation that a girl named Callie, a daughter of a friend of mine, she was a great designer, architectural decorator, but she did this on small homes and in small ways, everything from interior of presenting flowers in certain boxes within the house, a little bit outside, but not a lot. But she had a very much of an interior type attitude. Well, there was once next door down the street, a next door neighbor told her about a big plantation down the street. Well, the owner of that plantation noticed and saw what she had done interior, although on a small scale, and he invited her to be the designer and horticulturist of this nice place that he had, a big, huge plantation. Well, this set her back a little bit. It scared her somewhat. Can I really do something of that nature, of that scale? It was like we always said, your reach should be further than your grasp. Well, she had been told that, and it caused her to go ahead and take a chance and do that job for that plantation owner. Well, it turned out that she did a marvelous job. She did an unbelievable job. And because of that, she developed a whole staff of architectural designers and interior decorators and built a big company because of that. Well, that's the story. There isn't a man living that isn't capable of doing more than what he thinks he can do, is what Henry Ford once said. Well, the takeaway to all of this is the following. The only difference between stumbling blocks and stepping stones is the way that you use them. And that is so true. Expect the setbacks, expect them. Don't be surprised by them. Use them as opportunities of stepping stones. And the procedure should be the following. There is no substitute for enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, first of all, you got to act enthusiastic before you become enthusiastic. And the second point, trouble is part of all work. It can't be avoided. Expect it. Know it's to happen. But don't be discouraged by it. And it's not a writ from heaven destined for you to fail. And the third point is making or taking on trouble can bring success. It's only because of the setbacks that we are set in a position to learn and to earn. It's because of them. It's not in spite of them. And the fourth thing is conflicts will arise. Think through how to achieve positive results for both parties. And that's important. It should be a win-win situation. And when an employer criticizes you and tells you things that you didn't do right, don't take them personally. Look at those as stepping stones and acknowledge them and realize that if you will do what he says, he or she says, then you'll be a better person and you'll perform better at the work. Another point, the fifth point, businesses are built and sustained on new ideas. those innovations are often regarded as trouble, it's up to you to prove otherwise, which is just exactly what I said. Conflicts will arise. Think through how to achieve positive results for both parties is what we talked about. And this is so important. And the sixth point is if you doubt you can succeed, you're the only one holding yourself back. So don't shadow yourself. Show yourself that you can succeed and you will succeed. Those houses I knocked on, that the doors were slammed in my face, did not turn me away and cause me to go home. It was a part of the company to have you 1,000 miles away from home when you were knocking on doors in certain given territories for the summertime. And this was a way to keep you out in the territory and make it difficult for you to go home. Well, there are many people that did go home. We lost over a third the first 3 weeks of every summer. But the ones that stayed were so happy at the end of the summer coming back and collecting that check. And the last point is true friends are priceless assets. Your friends you will associate with, you may not know you were going to have, but you go out to lunch with, you do things after work with. These are priceless assets. And true friends, or as we have said, will be with you during those hard times. And a very important quote, the difficulties and struggles of today are but the price we must pay for the accomplishments and victories of tomorrow. This is so important. Yes, you're going to have to pay a price for the accomplishments and the victories. If there are assets within yourself, assets of emotions, of goals and ambitions and desires that you have within yourself, and you feel like you're not really using them to the ultimate level, go ahead and get a copy of my book, The Winning Advantage, Tap Into Your Richest Resources. It will be a roadmap to your success. Thank you and good evening. Use your talents, embrace your abilities, and pick up a copy of my book. Click the link on my website, thewinningadvantage.com, and purchase one of my books on Amazon. See you next week, Tuesday, 9 o'clock.